So I actually studied cooking in Italy. That's where I first went to culinary school. And it wasn't like pro culinary school with the big tall hats. This was more like home style cooking school with nonnas, like Italian grandmas, who were showing me home cooking from different regions around Italy. And me and my buddies, we would travel each weekend to these different regions and try these specialties that we would learn in school. It was so awesome. And one of the places we went was Liguria, which is where my all-time favorite is from, good old-fashioned pesto. So this is my original gangster OG Fusilli pesto with potatoes and green beans in 15 minutes. Howard, let's go to Italy.
Alrighty,
let's do it.
Buongiorno.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say bonjour, and I'm like, you're a country off, my friend, you're a country off. So, first things first is we gotta boil pasta, the green beans, and the potatoes. So I'm gonna get a pan on a boil. Cool. And I always have my kettle flying high. I come home from work, I turn this on. That way I always have boiling water. So this is going right in. And it's basically at a boil. I mean, give it like 1 minute and it's there. Beautiful. All right, so potatoes and pasta. Weird combo, right? Well, when I went to this region, this is what they served it with. It was pasta with like little broken up pieces of creamy potato and then kind of crisp green beans. So I've got a couple left over from a dinner I did this weekend. So I'm just gonna take like a handful of potatoes, like maybe 4, and then another handful of green beans. Just cooking for the fam tonight. Beautiful. I'm gonna grab another couple potatoes. I like the potatoes. My wife, not a big fan of the potatoes and the pasta. I think it really is nice and adds like a completely different thing going on. So, what I like to do is with the potatoes, is I just like to kind of cut them in half. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of that little. Whenever I see these are called eyes. I used to work in a kitchen where if the chef saw that the actual potato had eyes, he would slap your hand, like old school style. So whenever I see eyes, I kind of have like a trigger. I kind of freak out like someone's gonna come slap me. All right, so I'm just kind of quartering these. We want them all around the same size. If they're really small, cut them in half. If they're bigger, just kind of leave them in quarters. And then with green beans, they always come with this little tick at the end. I don't know what you call it, like a little, I don't know, stem, I guess, is that the right word?
I think it's a stem.
Yeah, I was gonna go something a little bit more R-rated, but we'll keep it with stem. So I'm gonna put the stem side up, and I just kind of like line them all up in my hands, put them down on the board, and give them a little hair cut. Beautiful. Do it one more time. And these are just normal green beans. You can find them anywhere. You can use frozen if that's all you got, all good. But don't think they have to be perfect. They just have to be trimmed. All right, so green beans are looking great. I'm gonna cut these into bite-sized pieces. Beautiful. And if you think about it, we're gonna boil all these ingredients, the potatoes, the green beans, and the pasta in the same pot, but they all kind of go at different speeds. Really, the pasta and the potatoes are pretty similar, but green beans don't need nearly as much cooking time. So, follow me here. I'm gonna grab a ton of salt. And in Liguria, where this is from, in Italy, they are right near the sea. So it's really salty. They go right down to the sea, and they actually scoop buckets of the sea up, and that's what they cook their pasta in. And I couldn't believe it the first time I saw it, but it's true. They cook it like that. That's how salty it is. So lots of good handfuls of salt. I'm gonna grab a little fusilli. Now, a lot of people ask, what is the best shape of pasta for pesto? And Howard, I don't know if you can get it in really tight, but fusilli is kind of that little twirl. We've all seen this before. We've all had it before. But this is a really good shape for any sauce, but specifically pesto, because it's a little chunkier, because the sauce is gonna get kind of lodged in each one of those layers. I love it for this reason. It's not super traditional. Traditional is called trophy pasta, which looks like a little pig's tail. It's like a little twirl, but hey, this is all I could find. So a couple good handfuls of pasta, and by a couple, I'm making pesto, so let's go with like 4 handfuls of pasta. Why do I always cook more? I'm a big leftover guy, trust me. All right, so I'm gonna put this back in the pantry, and then I'm gonna go right in with the potatoes. So right over the pasta. All right, so we've got our salted water, we've got our pasta, we've got our potatoes. They're kind of blipping away, doing their thing. And again, the green beans we're gonna come back to later. So Now we're gonna start the actual sauce itself. I'm really passionate about pesto, if you haven't picked up on that. I don't like to use a machine. The blade actually heats up the herbs and the garlic and actually the nuts, whatever nuts you're using, it makes a nut butter and kind of kills the flavor. So I go old school, which of course there's like curry powder in here, but that's part of cooking, is I use a pestle and mortar. All right, I just love it. I think it kind of keeps the integrity of the dish alive. So with pesto, we've got basil already. Not traditional, not the original gangster, but it's all I got right now is sunflower seeds. But you can use cashews, you can use almonds. Traditionally, it's pine nuts. They're expensive, and I feel like we only use them for this dish. So just use whatever you got. I got Parmesan, olive oil, I'm missing some stuff. Garlic. Where's my garlic? I might be out of garlic. I got one clove. Okay, so here's how pesto is made. Garlic into your little mortar, and you're gonna crush that up. Really good. You really want it to be like a paste, and just one clove, because you want to taste everything, right? Then I've got some basil, and I don't want the stems in this, but I like to save the stems for a lot of things. You can do things like make a simple syrup and put the stems in there, or make a lemonade and make a basil stem lemonade. So don't throw away the stems necessarily, but for this dish, definitely just go for the leaves. Smell this, Howard. Just smell this. No, this. Isn't that so beautiful?
Oh, it smells good.
Especially in the winter, it's just like, this is nice. So I'm gonna put the leaves in and just go to town. Really bust it up. And again, this is not heating the basil like the blades would. This is just kind of bruising it and breaking it down. You can add a little salt to this just to kind of help you, all right? But really, it's just about arm strength. Now, I married an Italian girl into a Ligurian Italian family. This is how much I love the region, okay? And I didn't realize this, but pesto is really key to my family-in-law. And they have their own recipe, and you know, I came back from Italy and I was kind of one of those guys that was above it and like, everything tastes better in Italy, you know, like the water's different, the cheese is different. But then I had pesto at my father-in-law's, and I'm like, holy beep. This is back to Italy. It just transformed me back to Liguria. So it can be done here in the States with a couple of tricks. So check out how pasty this is looking. All right, really nice. I'm gonna add just like a handful-ish of my sunflower seeds. And I'm just gonna crush that up. So we're just kind of making a paste, right? With the sunflower seeds, the basil, and this just takes time. This just takes a lot of time. I will say, one of the things that I caught on when I was in Liguria is that the basil trees grew next to lemon groves. So the basil kind of had this lemony flavor from the actual lemon groves themselves. So I typically used to put a little squeeze of lemon in here, and guess who told me that was not good? My father-in-law, so I got rid of it. So you can add a little lemon just to kind of loosen the whole thing up, make it a little bit more tart and alive, but that's kind of your call. All right, you looking at this, Howard?
It smells really,
doesn't that smell amazing?
really good. Oh my God.
It smells so good.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I know. So, really, really good pasty basil. We've got the sunflower seeds. It's really a paste at this point. Let's go back to the pasta just for a sec, because it's been a couple of minutes. Let's see what we're working with here. All right, I'm gonna give it a quick stir. Now, everyone talks about al dente, al dente. When you have a shaped pasta like this, rigatoni, fusilli, penne, those are all shaped pastas where they're extruded. I cook them all the way through. I don't do al dente, I don't do that. Al dente is for string pastas, like angel hair or fettuccine or spaghetti. So those I like to do al dente with a little bit of a chew. This I cook all the way through. All right, green beans in. Right, so we're kind of just playing with the different cooking temperatures. The pasta and the actual potatoes got a little bit of a head start, and the green beans are now catching up. This is looking good. This is bringing me back right now. This is beautiful. How much time do we have? 5 minutes and 50 seconds. This is gonna come down to the wire, I think. All right, so we've got our paste, but it doesn't really look like pesto yet. Now it's gonna look like pesto. Get some really good olive oil. I think I might have to go through both my olive oils for this. And it's time to bring it home. So I'm gonna grab some olive oil, and I'm just gonna start with try and get it into the bowl. Start with a good glug, and then just kind of move it around. You see that? Right, so just a good glug, move it around. And you really want to kind of loosen this up, right? This is where you can kind of really get in, and instead of pounding, I kind of drag my actual pestle around the mortar and smush it. All right, and some more olive oil. I love olive oil. God, I love olive oil. I didn't realize how much olive oil Italians cook with until you go to Italy and it's like, oh, you use it for that. Oh, for that. Oh, great, for that too. It's just everywhere. But look at this. This is real pesto. This is what pesto should look like, should taste like. Homemade. I mean, one more smell, Howard, just please. Someone make a fragrance from this. Someone. Someone bottle this so I can just put a little bit here, a little bit under here. It's just so good. So at this point, the pesto is ready to be preserved, meaning use it later if you want or use it now, but don't add cheese to it. That's another thing that my father-in-law taught me is only add cheese when you're about to serve it because the cheese kind of messes with the texture. So whether it's true or false, up to you, but now that's all I do because of course that's all you do. So I've got good Parmesan cheese. Never get the tennis ball can of Parmesan cheese. What a shame. You just pounded all that basil and then you put sawdust in here. It's just a big mistake. So good amount of Parmesan. And this is gonna lighten the flavor, give a really creamy, kind of salty umami to the whole thing. I'm gonna go with about half a cup. Gosh, it's like snow. Beautiful. Grab a spoon and just look, Howard. Look at that. Just kind of the whole thing turns a little bit brighter and you can smell the Parmesan. Why do I love pesto so much? Why is it so good?
Because it's awesome.
It's awesome. All right, grab a bowl. Now, another non-traditional piece. Do it or don't do it, but I do it. I know every Italian on this is gonna lose their mind, but talk to the Cunios, my family-in-law, because they taught me this. Butter. So I cut it into really small cubes into the bowl. How we doing? 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Getting a little nervous. So the butter is kind of waiting for our pasta and potatoes. Let's just see how we are from a cooked standpoint. Remember, I'm not going for al dente, I want cooked through. Oh yeah, okay. We're about a minute away. I'm gonna grab a plate. Still got a little bit of bite to it, too much bite for me. And then, have you guys ever seen this tool, which is not in this drawer? This tool, which is not over here, where is it? It's called a spider. Let's see if I can find it. Is it hanging? I feel like always when I'm cooking with you, Howard, I lose things. Where's my spider?
I did take it.
You sure?
I'm sure.
God. All right. I guess you don't need it, but it's a little wire mesh. It's good for frying and I like it. Blah, 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 blah. It's good. So all I'm gonna do is just drain this stuff. Good old fashioned colander. And you just have to wait for that right moment. I didn't try the potato. I'm not serving raw potatoes, I'm sorry. It's gotta be cooked through. It's so hot, hot potato.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. All right. Drain this. Oh yeah. And then while it's still hot, bring it on over. I did it again. I'm eating things while they're hot. Little water kills it. Cold water always does the trick.
This is getting very real.
It's getting real. Okay, so how we doing on time? 1 minute. I'm gonna take my hot pasta, potatoes, and green beans, not all of it, over the butter. And that heat is gonna kind of melt the butter. I'm gonna take my pesto And don't you dare be shy. Don't you dare be shy. And mix this through. Oh, and this is where the pesto just starts to come alive. You never want to cook pesto, meaning you never want to put this in a saucepan. You always want to toss it almost like a salad, or else the basil will actually kind of cook down and be really rancid and gross, so not good. So you just want to kind of toss it through right onto a plate. Look at this. With potatoes, green beans, the fusilli. You have to. It's blasphemy not to. Finish it with a little bit of parm. Give the plate a little shake. Hit it with a little bit more olive oil. Try and have some in the bottle. How are we doing on time?
We just hit 0.
Oh, I'll take it. I love it. So this is honestly, if I think about what I would ask for on death row, it would probably be a plate of pesto, but from scratch, done right, the way that I learned in Liguria, picked up from my family-in-law. I love it. Hope you guys love it. And for more of these recipes, head to Yumly or readyforseconds.com. Woo!